Good evening, everyone. Namo Buddhaya to you all. Warm welcome to our regular Saturday Dhamma program. Once the king of the divine beings, we call the god Sakra, came to the Buddha and asked 4 questions. Out of those 4 questions, first one was, what is the sweetest in this world? And then next one is, what is the highest in giving? Then Buddha answered on to those 4 questions and explained the sweetest thing is to give the truth. The truth is the sweetest thing in the world, which we interpret this as the Dhamma. Dhamma is none other than the truth. And then he was asked what is the highest in giving. Buddha said, giving the Dhamma, sharing the Dhamma is the highest in this world. People contribute, donate, give charity, many material things and other things. Those are very useful and gains a lot of karma. But the giving of the truth, which is the teachings of the Buddha, is the highest giving. This is a regular program. We start with the aftermath of this coronavirus pandemic situation to heal the society and help the people who are mainly locked down and also struggle emotionally, economically and physically. So we were very happy that we've been able to generate a lot of blessings, vibrations, as well as knowledge and wisdom to grow in the right direction. We are going to continue this program. If you can sponsor these programs, this is a great help at this uncertain time to maintain the facilities of the temple for the welfare of monks and also to keep these programs. Today, our program is being sponsored by Mr. and Mrs. Tennakon. They are very close devotees of our temple, Letchworth Dhamma Nikethanaya Buddhist Center. And they always regularly offer the requisites dana to the Venerable monks. So all these merits today is being dedicated to wish a good health, protection, and the fulfillment of all the aspirations. A very happy birthday to Mrs. Tennakon. May those blessings be with their parents, teachers, and all the relatives and friends who are no longer with them. Also, may those blessings be with their children and whole family to find the good health and protection from all around. In addition to that, this whole month is being sponsored by, during this Vassana season, Mrs. Kisa Chowdhury Alahakon. Her aspiration is to transfer the merits to Mr. Parimal Kanti Chowdhury. So we take these wholesome qualities in our heart as merits and transfer to Mr. Parimal Kanti Chowdhury, which falls on the 30th of this month, offering dana, and we transfer those merits into his good name. Mrs. Kisa Chowdhury Alahakon is being a great supporter to our temple by providing a lot of facilities, especially at this uncertain time, to keep the center going. May those activities, may those blessings, even she help us to support, to build up a stupa in Sri Lanka and to maintain some other requisites for the Venerable monks and the temples in Sri Lanka. We take these collective merits to transfer into the good name of Mr. Parimal Kanti Chowdhury. May he attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Also, we would like to share these blessings with one of our close devotee and also the very kind supporter of the temple, Mrs. Ratnavali Deb. May she have the good health and protection. At last, not least, to our all the children of the community, especially the children of Dhamma school, parents, and the teachers. May they all share these noble blessings and may they be well and happy. Bearing this in our heart, we are going to observe the 5 precepts and pay our homage to the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha and do the Bodhi Pooja. After that, there will be a Sinhala sermon and then we will do the chanting of blessing, protection, Seth, Pirith. After that, we will have the English Dhamma sermon and we will have the Dhamma school children's presentation, then meditation to close in the blessings. We pay our homage to the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, and we offer the light, flowers, medicinal drinks, incense, and all the offerings with devotion and respect to the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. May those blessings be with you all. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Wishing you all good health and protection, we are going to make a chanting of blessings. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Now we are going to start our English Dhamma sermon. Today our topic is about Vap Poya, full moon day in the month of October. Normally it marks the end of the rainy retreat season. 3 months, most venerable monks observe spiritual retreat, and to mark that end of that retreat, we have a very special full moon day. So all these 4 months, the month starting from today regards as Chivara Masa, Katina Chivara Masa, those 4 months are highly important, blessed, very special, meritorious period of time. On this special day, even our Lord Buddha had so many significances in the history. Our Hamduro will mention in the talk. Among them, he went to see the mother and preached the Dhamma in the celestial plane called Matru Divya Putra, Mother God, Mother Deity. By listening to that, she attained the first spiritual attainment called Soan, Stream Enterer. Among her, over 800 million other deities also attained spiritual development. So this is a highly blessed period of time to get us that powerful blessings. You can sponsor these programs and also support the temple to facilitate the welfare of monks. So today we are very grateful to the sponsors of the day. Now I invite our most venerable Dr. Reverend Sumana Siri Nayaka Hamduro to deliver the sermon in English to explain the significances of the Vap Poya, full moon day in the month of October.
Reverend brothers, dear Dhamma school children, parents, friends in the Dhamma. Today is a very special day in the Buddhist calendar, a little bit particular to Sri Lanka. But also you will see the global perspective of the day's relevance in the Buddhist history of ancient times. Vap is a Sinhalese word. I'm not very sure what is the Pali word because it's not very familiar in Pali Buddhist scripture about this term. But every month has a particular name in any language. There are two types of calendars. One is the solar calendar, like the Julian calendar which we are using today, is a Catholic calendar. And those who base on the moon have the lunar calendar. The Buddhist system or the Indian system is normally based on the lunar calendar like the Chinese system. There are sometimes controversies about the dates and the months also slightly, because the time here in Europe is different from the time of what we see in Asia. So that is not a problem. After all, reality is beyond time and beyond space. And within that purview, let us make an evaluation on the significance of this Vap Poya day. Normally, this Vap Poya falls, as just mentioned by our Venerable monks, in the month of October. The Poya is based on a lunar calendar, and when the moon is in full, then you start the counting of the month. It is not following the English calendar or the Julian calendar, the solar calendar. So according to the lunar calendar, but in these 30 days or 31 days, starting from 1st October, the lunar month of Vap starts and it ends, because on the 30th of this same month, October, which 1st October is a few days more, today is the 26th in England, it's 27 in Asia, and then for that 31 days, we have 2 Poya days, full moon days, because it's following the moon. And this occasion, this month starts from the, as I said, 1st of October in the global sense, particularly to where we are, whether in the east or in the west. So this is called the Vap Masa, or the month of Vap, and which is also called the season of when the Vassana period, the rainy spiritual training. People use retreat, but it has a different meaning when you say retreat. It's not a runaway, but how they make use of that particular time to be in the doors without going out of the area or the temple, and staying and spending their time with more spiritual work and concentration. If you look at the world today, where there is a pandemic time, now the whole year also we are staying like more indoors rather than outdoors. So it is not very surprising. But let us take, in this situation, which is in some Buddhist countries a public holiday, 1st of October, if you go by the world history, you know it's a significant day for Russia. The day the whole system changed in Russia is called the October Revolution. But when we look from a Buddhist perspective, for us, the month gives us a time for mental revolution, to change ourselves and to renew ourselves, particularly we Buddhist monks at this point of time, when we are facing this pandemic. On this particular Poya day, it is time for us to reflect as well. And on Poya days, we are told in the Buddhist scriptures that the king of gods, Sakra as we call, Indra as the Hindus call, Zeus as the Greek people call in Greek mythology, is the time that he look at the world and see good people doing good things and noble things, and virtually following the higher precepts, he respects them. He had said this to his own charioteer, Matali by name. And it is a public holiday in some Buddhist countries, not all. So therefore, it is not a globally accepted fact of that day, significance. But coming to the Buddhist calendar in particular, we see the significant things happening in Buddhist history to some extent beyond the shores of Sri Lanka. But when you take it as the Vassana season, the 3 months that's going to end now, and on the 1st October starting with the Vap Masa, the Chivara Masa, time to make robes and make offerings to the monks. It's given a grace period, and also is the time where people observe more precepts and go to the temples and makes offerings to the triple gem, to the Buddha, to his glorious Dhamma, and to his noble Arya Sangha. They pray and also they worship, and they also make observances in the precepts to purify their physical and vocal actions. And the higher they go in meditation, they help to purify the mental part and the psychical part as well. And the end of this season, while staying in the temple, unless there is an emergency, when the monk who is observing that 3 months period, rainy retreat as usually called, he is given a permission to go up to 7 days, but before the 7th day night, he has to come back and be in his retreat. So this is the normal traditional way of the judgment. The lay persons, till the end of that Poya, when they start the Vap Masa, they offer robes. So that goes for a period of time until the following lunar month comes to an end. So the month of robes, Chivara Masa, it is being called. And that is what you say, the time you offer the Katina robes. What does Katina means? In normal Indian language, Katina means very strong, very difficult, solid, tense, and dense. This Katina robe celebration or offering is made in very specific terms. It is, I'll repeat later, not a precept. If a monk doesn't offer or practice this Vassana, he won't break a precept. It is just an observance. In Buddhism, there are different observance and extra practices for those who go to the jungles and so on, which is not compulsory. The Buddhist monk system can be a monastic, semi-urban base, or can be the other way around. The Buddha have kept the option. His freedom of thought, understanding the traits and the characters of different types of people, and he had made his teachings very pliable to different characters of people to follow and to understand in their own way. This is what you say, Pacchatang Veditabbo Vinyuhiti, to be understood by oneself according to one's knowledge, provided you are knowledgeable. So it's very interesting, even on Vap Poya day onwards, when the Katina is being performed, how the mechanism is made so that the monks will not be lacking of robes. But in today's world, very highly commercialized, so even Katina is not spared. So it is made as a big function with a lot of pomp and gay. That is tradition. But the Buddha's way of looking at it is so important that he wanted to follow what the Jainism monks also followed, Munis also followed. So he saw, because people start to make noise, in India when it rains cats and dogs. That means very heavily. And at that time, frogs, other insects, they come out. And when you are going on the roadside, it is so muddy, and that mud stains can be stuck to your clothes for a long time. That dirt doesn't go off easily. This is, I tell you by my experience, having been to India 55 times in different capacities. And therefore, the Jain priests, they live at home. And some of them practice very differently. So even if they have no clothes, their bodies become very dirty. So it became a secluded, contained in a particular place to practice during the rainy season, not to get sick as well. If you look in the wider perspective of not only making the rule, the compassion of the Buddha, because his way of looking for 10 reasons only he make rules. Our rules are not regimented. They are not fixed compulsory as such. They can be amended. In his last sutta, the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, he says, monks, I give you permission to choose what are the minor rules and the lesser minor rules that could be changed. Let's say, for instance, like there is one precept called Ganabhojane Pachityam. The Buddha has amended this rule according to the circumstances 7 times. Can you imagine? So it's not a commandment. It's what the Buddha do of 10 purposes he make, and one of the purpose, the second purpose of making these rules for the monks is for the easement of the monks, to make their life easier and more organized, not to put them in a prisoners of rules, not as such. For their development to understand the Dhamma as it is in a very simple manner. So be organized in a way that as a community, they can move further from one step to the other, keeping the system as a guidance. There's no rigidity in that. Then coming back to this Vap story, the Buddhist way of expressing the seasons are 3 seasons: Hemanta, Gimhana, and Varsana. We know in some countries there are 4 seasons. There are also vegetable dishes called 4 seasons in Chinese. So the Buddha's way, following the Indic calendar, you have these 3 seasons. Hemanta means the winter season. Gimhana means the hot season, summer we call it. And then Varsana means the rainy season. There are particular countries there, though it rains in India and Sri Lanka, that area, but it doesn't rain in other countries. So how are you going to practice this? The meaning is, whatever the weathers are in anywhere, universally, we have to use our wisdom and look at the position, whether there is rain or not, doesn't matter, for the monks to keep to themselves for their own containment and development, to be at one particular place for 3 months. After that, you can go out anytime. That's the liberty of the Buddha. He did not want to tie down them only in one temple and one place. The Buddha himself lived in 8 temples and he traveled. The first message he gave to the monks, because the monks are supposed to be wanderers, pabbajita. The word pabbaja, ordination, is the one who moves. Buddhism is a dynamism that did not demand that the student or the monk stay at that one place and only realize. His first lesson, even before the first sutta he recited, Dhammacakka Sutta, was Charita Bhikkave Charikang. Monks, go forth to the 60 months, he told. Don't 2 persons go in one way, because he understood there are different ways of understanding and different personalities. No 2 persons go one way. That means the 60 persons go in 10 directions. Or if there is more directions, still go on. So coming back to our position today, after that 3 months of Vassana period, the rainy season, then you will have the Hemanta, winter time comes. So the Buddha, in a conventional sense, was also thinking of that time how the monks can sustain. To be fair to the whole system, we know that the Indian simple way is how we normally wear in Asia. We can't just wear the robe only in a cold country. And when in countries like severe winters in Canada, in Russia, in Iceland, you have Eskimo Buddhist monks also. You can't just wear a robe and stay there. So the other clothing comes in, he is given that space. And that is why in very rigid practices that been followed by some Mahayana brother monks and nuns, you can find their robes are different according to the weather they have made. They have made a convention and accepted that as the robe. We must also respect, because the Buddha don't see sacredness as such in the place or what you wear. How good you are in your behavior, in your mental thinking, in your vocal actions, and in your physical mode. The mind, the body, the words, and the spirit, the essence is what is important, not the formality. So in that understanding, you go to the situation where the Katina robe is being offered, and that is a way how you can get the necessary robes for the year or more. And there are, of course, 5 privileges for the monk who gets the Katina robe. I'm not going into all that. That privileges means 5 rules you may not allow, no need to follow. If the rules are all regimented, you must follow. Out of the 220 rules, you reduce 5, then it becomes 215 only you follow, the one who gets the Katina robe. So that privileges is there. One historical thing I want to tell you, how did this story happen of this rainy retreat Vassana period? There were 30 monks in the city called Saketa. Saketa has now become one of the most controversial cities in India, because the ancient Buddhist places in Saketa, which is now called Ayodhya, the Hindus and the Muslims have clashed because there is Babri Masjid, and 30 over years ago, the Hindus went in a procession and stopped there. I was in India living that time, working and studying as a Buddhist monk. They demolished the Muslim Babri Masjid, the mosque, and they started to put up a Hindu temple. But archaeologists who are not partial have claimed that this is Saketa, where the Buddhist temples were, the monks used to live. So that's a historical matter. And at this very place is the place where 30 monks who were caught one day in a rain and they were suffering. Because of the rain, they didn't have enough clothes with them. They had only one robe. So the Buddha allowed to have many robes for those who need it. But he told the monks, always keep to the 3rd robe with you, 1, 2, 3 pairs, not more than that. Because if you are abundant by all that, you'll have a place to store it. People can come and steal it, because for them it's just a piece of cloth. But this robe is not just a piece of cloth. This is what we call the symbol, the banner of the Arahants, the Arahat Dvaja. When you see the robe, you understand this is a Buddhist monk or this is a Hindu priest, a little bit different from our clothes. But in later times in India, like the Ramakrishna mission, the Hindu monks, they also follow like our robe. They have copied. That is a production by Swami Vivekananda and his disciples in modern times. So we can see how Buddhism even influences the entire Indian system in that part when it comes to the robe. So Buddhism's contribution is not only for the Buddhists, but for the Hindus and others who want to learn Buddhism and adopt things from the great teachings of the Buddha. Now we come to a very important part to see that how the Buddha, giving these privileges, and he was compassion, because his compassion is called great compassion, not just for the sake of compassion. The entire human beings who need compassion, the Buddha is there. It is said that the Bodhisattvas don't attain enlightenment until all the beings in the hells, according to Mahayana Buddhism, get enlightened. It's a very interesting expression. It doesn't mean that it just happens like that, but that is the wish, to see that all beings are being saved and spared then only the Bodhisattva wants to become safe and spared. But he is not a savior. No one saves us but ourselves. So therefore, we have to look at these factors that we are performing now in the current days, to what extent it's related to the original teachings of the Buddha. And this Katina robe can be accepted only by one monk, not many. Out of those monks who stayed indoors for their 3 months together, the community of monks will choose which monks need more, which monks need to accept that particular robe. And that monk becomes special with those 5 privileges. So relating to that, there is a story about Venerable Nagita, who once in his past life wanted to offer a Katina robe. So that became a big history. And then on this Vap Poya day, it's very interesting that it was just mentioned by the previous speaker, how the Buddha himself did an ascendance. It is depicted in many pictures, and the place or city called Sankasa, today in Indian language is called Sankasya, where Emperor Ashoka has put the column as well, I mean his rock pillars, and written messages as well. And for many years, it was a dilapidated place, but about 30 years ago, one of my colleague friends, Venerable Julampite Jnanaratana, he spent a lot of time in India studying after Sri Lankan Buddhist monks, and he started to build up the new temple to take care of that place. So today my talk, I dedicate the merits because he passed away recently, about 2 years ago, unexpectedly. He was less than 70, slightly a little bit older than me, a friend of mine. And I also have donated to that place when the temple was being built for a particular room for travelers who come from all over the world. So this Sankasa became a very interesting part because this is where, as tradition says, the Buddha went to heaven. So in many paintings there is drawn a staircase showing that the Buddha is going up. You find this in many temple drawings and also in very ancient paintings, not only in Theravada countries, but in Chinese Buddhism as well. And also the Greeks, when they started to become Buddhists, about 600 years after the Buddha, after Emperor Ashoka, you have King Milinda. King Milinda himself is an Indian Greek king who was born in Bagram in Afghanistan. Now, these people who became Buddhists, the Greek people, they started to make Buddha statues. And there also, you have the sculpture work of the Buddha ascending to heaven and descending from heaven. And what happened after that is also given in this Gandhara or Hellenistic Greek Buddhist architecture. So you see, even at that time, 300 years before Jesus was born, the very Greek people who spoke the same language of Aramaic like Jesus had already been practicing Buddhism in what today we call Afghanistan and modern Pakistan, which was India, ancient India, right going up towards parts of Iran and to the Russian part, that is Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, the Greek diaspora. So they also have accepted the fact that our Buddha had gone to heaven from this Sankasa Pura or Sankasa. Today's India call it Sankasya. So it's very interesting that if we see from a global value, that Vap Poya is the day that the Buddha ascended to heaven. And 3 months before, after going there, he had descended. In another scripture says on the Vap Poya day. This is a bit confusing. But no matter what, his descending from that heavenly place down, he was asking questions from Venerable Sariputta, his chief disciple. And after answering the questions, the Buddha says, my chief disciple is the Dhamma Senapati. That means major general for the Dhamma. You have army generals. The Buddha said Dhamma Senadipati, for the army of the Buddhist monks, not in the bad sense, not in the violent sense, because our enemies are what? Greed, hatred, ignorance. We always have this war that we have to conquer. And Venerable Sariputta is the major general of the Dhamma, Dhamma Senapati, Dhamma Senadipati. So very interesting how the Buddha approached that in a very different form rather than purely spiritual term. It is also said, by listening to the Buddha and Venerable Sariputta's catechism, that is question and answer system, the next Buddha is going to come was so pleased and happy that he asked the Buddha for ordination. It is recorded in Sri Lankan chronicles that the future Maitreya Buddha was given ordination at that time. Then we come to the time of King Devanampiya Tissa. His name is Tissa. Devanampiya means beloved to the gods. And this title he shares because he was given and called like this by Emperor Ashoka. So he was a contemporary of Emperor Ashoka who lived about 300 years after the Buddha. So he sent his son Mahinda, or Maha Mahinda as they say, to Sri Lanka to establish Buddhism. A great contribution for the Sri Lankan Buddhists. So what happened is, it is on a Vap Poya day that the first Buddhist monk was ordained by Venerable Maha Mahinda. And then on a Vap Poya day, from ancient Lanka, a group from the palace with the messenger Prince Aritta was sent to Emperor Ashoka by the ideas given to King Devanampiya Tissa to ask Emperor Ashoka to send his sister to establish the nuns order in Buddhist system in Sri Lanka. So that was also happened on a Vap Poya day. So it became very significant to Sri Lankans, more than the other Buddhists. And at the same time, it is during this Vap Poya day that the so-called first Sri Lankan Arahant, the Venerable Maha Aritta, who was a student of Venerable Maha Mahinda Thera, first Sinhalese Buddhist monk, who was guiding and as the preceptor state Venerable Maha Mahinda, son of Emperor Ashoka. Together they conducted this Buddhist council. We have 3 Buddhist councils in Indian history, the one, first, second, third. And then we come to the ending one after that coming to Sri Lanka, and this is called a Buddhist Council on the Vinaya rules, the Vinaya Sanghayana. And this establishment was done at the same time when the group went to Emperor Ashoka. He took a golden bowl and he wanted to send the southern branch of the Mahabodhi tree at Buddha Gaya to King Devanampiya Tissa through his daughter. And it is said miraculously the plant came into his bowl. So this must be a little bit of literature. There is something called Atishopya Alankara, the beautiful way the poet or those who wrote the history say like that. And it was sent, and the day they brought it here, and they got down, and then on this Vap Poya day, the Bodhi tree was being planted. It must have taken a few months for them to come from Pataliputra down to Sri Lanka by ship and all that. The emperor had gone up water until his neck and then given, and he said, may my friend Devanam Pirith also respect like this. Now the last point that I want to say, Katina ceremony comes, and out of the 10 great kusalas, it is the first kusala. So therefore, Katina ceremony is a very significant one and an important one in Buddhism. I wish my brother monk who passed away at Sankasa after all his good actions accept these merits of the Dhamma that I have accrued. May he be well and happy. May those of you at the same time share the merits, understand the Dhamma, and gain empowerment here and now, hereafter and in the next, to be born in better places, in better conditions, and one day, finally, by listening to the Dhamma and understanding and realizing, attain the bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much, Bhante, for giving such a elaborated, very explained, detailed Dhamma talk on this very special title, the significance of Vap Full Moon Day. Ayang Vassana Kalo, the Vassana season started in the month of July, we call Asala, and it comes to an end on this full moon day called Vap in the month of October. And from this month onwards, we have a month of Chivara Masa, which means robe offering month. And that regarded as the highest merit month. In addition to that, on the Vap full moon day, Lord Buddha went to see the mother in the Tautisa Divyaloka, Tavatimsa Divyaloka, and preached the Abhidhamma, the highest teaching, and Mother deity attained Sovan, the first enter to the spiritual path. Together with her, over 800 million deities, as recorded in the scripture, says attain some spiritual attainment. According to the chronicles, in Sri Lanka, a minister called Aritta, he is supposed to be a relative of the King Devanam Pirith. India and Sri Lanka had a clear, cordial diplomatic relationship even to date. And then as a result, it paves the way for the arrival of Sangamitta. King Devanam Pirith approached our Maha Mahinda Thera and asked if the Buddhism is being established in Sri Lanka. Then Arahat Mahinda Maha Thera said, dear king, until such time a person born and bred in Sri Lanka enters the order, holds a Dhamma Sangayanava, after complete and thorough study of Vinaya rules relating to Dhamma, then only Buddhism will be firmly established throughout Sri Lanka. By hearing that, Minister Aritta enters as a Buddhist monk and hosts this special disciplinary meeting to establish the Buddhist teaching. So all these very important things happen on this very full moon day. So we take this opportunity to share merits with our most venerable Dr. Reverend Sumana Siri Nayaka Hamduro. He is commemorating also his mother's anniversary on the 8th of October coming. May all these merits be with his beloved mother and all the other relatives who are no longer with him today, and may they all attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Also to his teachers and all other supporters who helped him in his journey of this monkhood, and he even today is being grown into a very highly experienced, very educated, and also very useful senior Buddhist monk. So may he have the longevity and the blessings to continue his good work. Also to the blessings to our most venerable Dickwelle Seelasumana Hamduro for making huge contribution to the Dhamma and the community, May he also have the blessings. With that, I wish you all a very happy and pleasant evening. Now I will pass on to our Asikaya to go ahead with the Dhamma school program.
So we thank you very much for all of you, Amdaros, for giving us the Dhamma education. Today being the, I was saying that thank you very much for giving us this information regarding Vap Poya and its significance. I hope all the children have learned a lot about what is Vap Poya and why we celebrate it, what are the significant events that took place in Vap Poya. So we have been given children some assignments about Vap Poya, and they are going to talk about Vap Poya according to what they understood. So I'll pass on to first Chanade to present her part of the Vap Poya. Thank you.
Mama Vap Poya ගැන කියන්න යන්නේ. ඇසළ පෝයෙන් පටන් ගන්න පස් විසීම Vap Poyati අවසන් වී. කටින කාලයේ ආරම්භ වෙනවා. Vap Poyati කටින ශීවර වස් කාලයේ ගත කළ භික්ෂූන් වහන්සේලාට පූජා කිරීම සිදු කරනවා. මෙම මාසය සිවුර මාසය කටින මාසය කියලත් හඳුන්වනු ලැබේ. තෙරුවන් සරණයි.
The importance of the Vap Poya. The Vap full moon Poya is a very important Poya in the Buddhist calendar. According to the Buddha history, many events relate to the life of the Buddha happening on the Poya day. It was on the Vap full moon Poya day that the Buddha ended his 7th retreat for the rainy season, since his enlightenment, which he had spent in the heaven of Tawatinsa, where he had engaged to speaking Abhidhamma to the Devas by Deva, accompanied by the mass of followers. The Buddha came down near the city gate of Sankasapura, where upon having speak Dhamma to get great crowds which flocked to witness the strange events, he mentioned Arahat Sariputta as the most intelligent person among all the displays. When he successfully answered all the hard questions put to him by Dhamma, the Buddha, during an ancient era, Vap was known as the time for sowing. Thank you.
Thank you
So thank you, Sadel, for giving me a chance to listen about the Vap Poya Day. The fast begins on the end of the Poya Day, at the end of the Poya Day. After end of the day commences the continuous period. This is a period for which we, where the monks stay indoors in the monasteries as a rain season. On this holy day, most of the Buddhists visit temples to observe sins and attend other ceremonies. Now I'm going to tell the important Vap Poya Day. On the Vap Poya, the container Dickwelle, all new robes are offered by devotees of the temples. The bhikkhus who observe the fast season, and this is considered one of the most meritorious action in Buddhism. And the fact the word in Katani means unbreakable and refers to the merit gained by all the discontinuous to the one of the Mangalas of Maha, which is taken in the Thera along with the other people, the deity to the temple. The donating ceremony takes place. Thank you.
This year's Vap Poya Day falls on Thursday, October 1st. We found the main significance of Vap Poya Day is cutting season comes to an end with the Vap Poya.
Yes, Nangi, you are right. The rainy season commenced 3 months ago with Seelasumana Kalo. It comes to an end with the Vap Poya, and also this month is popularly known as Chivara Masaya. Vap Poya marks the offering of Katina, Chivara or new robes to Buddhist monks who observed Vas raining retreat beginning from Esala to Vap. The word Katina means unbreakable. It is believed that those who participate in Katina religious activities obtain much merit and they live a happy life in this world as well as in the other world once they depart. Also, Katina Pooja Pinkama goes as the great 8 merits or utter kusal. It is considered the most blessed, wholesome act a Buddhist can perform. Thank you.
Vappura Pasa Loswaka Poya is significant to Buddhists all over the world. Malli is now going to sing some kavi that tells you about the significance of Vap Poya. Tunmasun vasun kalaya pasukarava katina chivaraya puja keruva bodhana ekvi pinrasun keruva Vappoyai api pansal yanava tamamau hata ඇති සෙනහස කැටිකොට බුදුන් වැඩියේ තවුතිස දෙව්ලොව වෙත උතුම් අභිදහම් දෙසු දෙව් බඹුහට පින්වර වප්පොයයි මේ බැති බර සැරියුත්
හිමියග තනතුරු ගන්නේ මෙත් බුදු හිමි බුදු සසුනට එන්නේ වප්පෝයයි පුර හඳ දිදුලන්නේ සාදු සාදු අපි පන් යන්නේ. තෙරුවන් සරණයි.
Thank you, Avashiyakka and Hasindumalli. This Poya Day is very important as it marks the end of rainy retreat, or Vas, which commences at Esala Poya and goes through Nikini and Binara Poya and finally ends at the Vap Poya, which is at the October 1st. My little Nangi and I are going to talk about some events that happened on this very Poya Day. These are two of them. One of the stories that happened on Vap Poya was the royal festival day. King Suddhodana and his son Prince Siddhartha were celebrating at the festival with ploughing. And the prince then found this uninteresting, so he sat under a rose apple tree and then immersed into Anapanasati Bhavana. Awestruck nurses rushed to the king and said that he was meditating under a tree. When the king found him, he said, "Dear son, this is my second salutation to you."
Another story that happened on Vap Poya. After the Enlightenment, Buddha has been tirelessly teaching the Dhamma for many years. Buddha knew that his mother is in Tusitadolua, so he decided to visit his mother to preach Dhamma, to show gratitude and devotion to his mother. Buddha arrived in heaven and seated surrounded by a vast assembly of devas. In a lengthy discourse, he related stories of his birth and expressed the wish to see again the sublime face of his mother. Buddha's mother, known as Matru Devyarajaya, reunited with her son. Buddha spent 3 months in Tusitadolua, teaching Dhamma to his mother and other devas. By listening to Dhamma, Matru Devyarajaya so rapidly attained realization that she too taught Dhamma in heaven, in the presence of her beloved son. Finally, the mother attained Sovan, which is the first step towards Nirvana. Buddhu Dhamma Sangha Saranen Saradeva Vidunen Nuena Laba Sasaren Galawewa Pidumin Piliwatihi Apaniwanata Wewa Adamen Hetat Buddhu Saranen Satadeva. Teruvan Saranai.
Thank you, Vidumali and Vidunya Nangi. Why is Vap Poya important to us? Vapura Pasalosvaka full moon Poya Day marks the end of 3-month retreat by the Buddhist monks known as the Vas rainy season. The ladies offer Kathina robes, the Buddhist monks who observed rain's retreat properly as an act of merit and to gather good karma. During this time of Buddha, monks were attended to precept very precisely. The first precept is not killing or harming living being on purpose. This includes bugs and other besides that live in the ground. During the rainy season, when the rain came down, the bugs came up out of the ground. When the monks were traveling from one place to another, they couldn't stop from harming the bugs that were being born. The Buddha was criticized by other religions and the town folk so much that he had put in to affect the rains retreat so monastics could keep the precept fully. Also, it was very difficult to travel this during time, and the Buddha requested the monks just stay put. The tradition is that each year during the rainy season, the monks stayed close to a town so they could walk on the roads to get the alms instead of walking through the forest. Over time, these rain retreats happen from July full moon till October full moon. During this time of 3 months, ladies are looking after the necessities of monks such as Chivara, Senasana, Pindapata, and Gilampasa. And after completing the retreat as a custom robe called Katina Chivara, made of thick cloths colored with pigments extracted from the trees, is offered to a monk who completed the rainy season so in the proper way. Thank you for listening to me. Thero and Sumana.
Thank you all very much. Well done to all of you. Can I quickly go to Milton Keynes, please? Is there anyone? Yeah. Yes, sir.
Hello, today I'm going to talk about the significance of Vap Poya. Vap Full Moon Poya Day marks the end of traditional Vasana or rain retreat of the Buddhist monks. The rainy season commenced from the month of Esala and continued with the Poyas of Nikini, Bihara and ends with Vap Poya. During these months, rainy season, Buddhist monks attended to their religious activities indoors. The rainy season ends with the offering of Katina Chivara to monks, and therefore this is called the Shivara Masaya month. The word Katina means unbreakable. The Buddhists believe that through offering of Katina Chivara robe, you accrue the highest merit. Offering a Katina Chivara is considered as a meritorious deed of a lifetime. One of the notable incidents that took place on a Vap Full Moon Poya Day was at the royal festive day of celebrating Vap was centered round King Siddhartha and his son Prince Siddhartha. King Siddhartha, with his ministers and courtiers, were engaged in a ploughing ceremony. He had taken his little infant son, the future heir to the throne, to his official ceremony. Prince Siddhartha was placed on a screened and canopied couch under the shade of a Dhamma or rose apple tree near the paddy field. Finding he had been left alone by the attendants and nurses, sat cross-legged in the air, absorbed in Anapanasati Bhavana meditation. Developed the first ecstasy jhana. The king, on having listened to the reports of the awestruck nurses, hastened to the scene and, beholding his son Prince in meditation posture in the sky, saluted Prince Siddhartha, saying, "Dear son, this is my second salutation to you." This miraculous incident took place of Vap Poya Pasolosaka Poya Day. Some of the other notable incidents took place on Vap Poya Day are the appointment of Sariputta Maha Thera as one of the chief disciples of Buddha. The right Bodhi sapling of Jaya Siri Maha Bodhi was placed on a golden bowl to be displayed dispatched to Sri Lanka. Thank you for listening, Thero and Saranai.
Yes, Manuka. Manuka, you can start now.
Hello everyone, my name is Manuka and I am from Letchworth Dhamma School and I am going to talk about the significance of Vap Poya. The rainy season commenced from the month of Esla, continued with Nikethanaya and ends with Vap or rainy retreat. During this time, Buddhist monks attend to their religious activities indoors. Vap full moon Poya Day is very important as it marks the end of rainy retreat of the Buddhist monks. Lay devotees obtain highest merit by participating to Katina Pinkama. Another notable incident that took place on a Vap full moon Poya Day. Prince Siddhartha was in meditation posture and practiced Anapanasati Bhavana at the royal festival day of celebrating. King Suddhodana worships his son, Prince Siddhartha, on the Vap Poya day. Saranai.
Thero and Saranai. Good evening to all of you. Vap is known as the period of planting. This is the Poya day in October and beginning of the major cultivation season or Maha in Sri Lanka. This is the end of Vasala season and leads to Katina season. Vap full moon Poya day, Buddha ended his Vasana retreat from the rainy season since his enlightenment. During this time, Buddha has engaged in preaching Dhamma to the Devas in Tautisa. Also preached great crowd near the city gates of Sankasapura. Among this crowd, Buddha declared Arahat Sariputta as the most intelligent person among all the disciples, when he successfully answered various difficult questions put to him by the Buddha. Thank you. Oba samatha turuan saranai.
Dinati, yeah.
Teruan saranai. Oba samata pinu baba Vap Poya diniyak vela. Sivimat baba siva sehi papisina. Sariyut mahamugalan pilivelina. Pilivet Savumaha Sangagana Sobana Muduna Bedana Medim Vati Penina.
Vap Poya Day is one of the most important Poya days in Buddhist culture. This day marks the end of the 3-month retreat. The Vas retreat begins on Asada Poya Day and ends on Vap Poya Day. It is held because of the heavy rainy season, and so the monks were not able to complete their daily activities such as Pindapata. Therefore, the Buddha advised the monks to stay indoors. During these 3 months, as monks didn't go out, Buddhists offered danas to all the bhikkhus. At the end of the season, there is a ceremony called Katina Pinkama, which is held every year in October. This is also called Chivana Masaya, or month of robes. Here, new robes are offered by devotees to the monks and the temple. This is considered one of the most meritorious deeds in Buddhism. An important thing that happened on this day was the Buddha's visit to Tautisa as he spent his 7th Vas season. Here, the Buddha preached the Abhidhamma to the gods, led by Ma Prudeva, the mother of the Buddha.
Teruan saranai.
Yeah, I think that's all. Again, very well done to all of you from Milton Keynes. So that's the end of the Poya program now. So next week we'll be having Dhamma School same time. And as we discussed last week, the homework is going to be in relation to the Gatha Garavocha Nivatocha. You learned it last week. So please prepare your answers in terms of a presentation and then present it next week. And we will discuss another Gatha and we'll let you know later during the week what Gatha we are going to learn next week. Okay. That's all from me, Hamdurune. I'll pass it back to you.
Thank you very much, Rasikaya, for all the effort to make another very important, very useful, very beneficial day for the children to experience practically the teachings of the Buddha, and they themselves engage in research to find out actual informations in relevant to the particular full moon days, which is an very useful way to learn, and also this will be a huge benefit in their life. So this is a very good opportunity. Let us encourage all other children to benefit and join from this program. In the future, we will try to manage a little bit more time for the children to take over to engage in the Dhamma school. So my gratitude to and the blessings to Rasikaya and all the students, all the children, all the teachers and everyone. May you all be well, happy and peaceful. Once again, the children were amazing. Children were really, really good. I am very, very proud. Now, I would really like to make you amazingly better. How? By inviting you to practice few minutes meditation. So like now you are really doing far better, very, very skillful presenters, reciting some Sinhala verses, kavi, beautifully, in a very rhythmic way, good pronunciation, and also reciting Pali stanzas, gathas very well. And I encourage you to make a little bit more effort, have some good interest to learn gathas, Sinhala kavi, language. You would be amazing if you get this ability. And also, it will make you very easy if you practice few minutes meditation. The meditation begins when you learn to discipline your body, when you learn to calm your body. The only way you can calm the body if you calm the mind. Body is like the ocean and the water of the ocean. Mind is like the wind. Think of this. When the wind is blowing, the water in the ocean start making a lot of waves. So if your body is frigidity, if your body is not settled, which means your mind is raised, mind is working. If the mind is working, your energy is being taken over, so you can't utilize the energy for studies, concentration, creativity, memory. You can't remember things well. Once you lower that winds like mind restlessness down, then you will get more memory. You don't have to work hard in studies. You learn little and you remember a lot, and you become very creative. You become very powerful. So let us join few minutes in meditation. Just stopping all the work. Keep the eyes closed. Then slowly bring your body into a good posture. Keep the body comfortable but very straight, upright. Let your shoulders relax. And rest your palms, the right palm on the left palm, both palms in the lap. So keep your eyes closed so that you close all the work you've been doing externally, and you are working now internally with the mind. Then see whether the mind is like the wind I mentioned around the ocean. If the mind winds are high, the water in the ocean making huge furious waves. If the mind winds are low and cool, the waves of the ocean goes into stillness, and the blue water can see things clearly and perfectly still. Akikaruda mage sitat verale peralena rala vage. Is my mind is disobedient, undisciplined, like the waves of the ocean? Or is my mind is still, calm, like the deep ocean in the clear blue sky? And let your mind to relax, and let your mind to the body to still relax. I'm sure if you have those two in place, your heart will start to open with so much of joy. You are happy. Bring that happiness as a smile, that your face is blossoming like a lotus, and it relaxes the muscles in the face. If the smile is there, is a sign that you are no longer restless, no longer stressed, but calm and peaceful. Face is a sensitive place that where you can watch your mind. Bring a gentle smile and extend that smile and kindness to the whole body. Then slowly with the smile, take a very gentle breath quietly in, hold few seconds, and slowly breathe out, relaxing the body. To get your respiratory system perfectly working, keep the body relatively upright, straight. And then slowly breathe out, relaxing the body. Breathe slowly in. Breathe slowly out, relaxing the body. With that joy, with that smile, as a beautiful art, breath is an amazing thing. So slowly develop that awareness of the breath in. With the smile and joy, slowly breathe out, relaxing the body. Now let us practice few minutes loving kindness to repeat in the mind. May I be well. May I be happy. May I be kind. May I be not angry. May I be calm. May I be peaceful. Truly experience that you are with that qualities. It's amazingly wonderful when you have that qualities in you. Then extend it to your loved ones, your parents, your teachers, your family, the whole universe. Repeat in the mind, may all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be kind. May all beings be calm. May all beings be free from anger. May all beings be free from hatred. May all beings be free from envy. May all beings live happily. May all beings attain spiritual bliss. When you recite silently those in the mind, you will see your body started to calm. And you find more peace, more calm in your mind. It's wonderful. Learn this art at least 2-3 minutes every day. Maybe when you wake up, you sit in the bed or some proper place and practice few minutes meditation. Or you have a place, small room area, maybe a shine room, that you can go and sit and develop this meditation when you find more suitable in the day. At least before the end of the day, remember, even when you go to bed or even on the bed, that you always take few minutes to practice meditation. Now, keep the attention on your breath and experience the gentle sensation at the tip of the nostrils, right above the lips. And slow it down, calm it down, and welcome it with the heart of joy. And go deeper and deeper in that experience of the awareness of the breath. and sit in silence, in stillness for 1 minute to finish our practice today. Then slowly bring your palms jointly together, close to your heart, and still keep that uprightness, straightfulness, alertness, that confidence, that smile, that calmness, that happiness. And then slowly open the eyes and be happy for having this opportunity. I am very sure those who participate this even few minutes meditation should be very different, very skillful, very calm, very focused children. I'm going to one day come and ask your parents whether you are taking at least 2-3 minutes every day and practice at home. And I would certainly hear from your parents you are not the same now because you are well calm and focus and concentration. It's a great powerful practice called meditation. So let us share our blessings to finish our practice for the day by reciting the word 3 times so that your environment can hear it. If you open the mics, it will disturb, but your environment is where you need the vibration of blessings. So share the blessings by saying 3 times together. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So don't think that meditation is finished. As you go back from your Dhamma school to your normal work, normal studies, even play and be with others, be kind, be calm, never get angry, don't be moody and grumpy and some sort of negative thoughts, negative feelings. They are poisons. Don't let them come. They will destroy your life. Instead, practice loving kindness, nice words, sympathetic joy, loving kindness, and have a wonderful Dhamma school boy, Dhamma school girl. Wish you a very happy week. Thank you very much.
Thero සරණයි හාමුදුරනේ. Thero සරණයි හාමුදුරනේ. Thero සරණයි හාමුදුරනේ.
Everyone start.
Everyone සරණයි හාමුදුරනේ.
Everyone's
Hey.